Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope you can hear this live Facebook. Thank you for coming tonight. As usual, our live Facebook on every Wednesday will bring you all the educational material as well to help you to prosper using the available tools, which is generally in the hands of institutional or very wealthy investor. Now, this is something that we do in Trade VSA. So again, those of you who are very familiar with our educational live FB, I do hope that you can share this in your timeline. And thank you for coming tonight. And of course, tonight we'll be talking about some of the follow-up from the last Facebook that we had, which is the 1st of February on the insider buying, which is actually one of our latest 2023 offerings to all our members. And for those of you who have not got hold of, or at least see what are the insider buying is all about, this is definitely a chance. And also, good evening, Kim. And also there was also a question posed by some of our Telegram user in our Trade VSA. I will attempt to answer them too in here. Without do share this video in your timeline, and we really appreciate that all of us, hopefully we will learn something together as the market is getting tougher and tougher, and all we have to do as investor and trader is to take opportunity of the information that we have tonight in here. Now, of course, welcome tonight to all our fellow public and also our member from our Trade VSA member and also Smart Robie user. Thank you again for coming tonight and for your great support. Continuing from one of the highlight of 2023, at least the beginning of the year release, is looking into insider buying and selling. We'll also be looking at some academic research that shows that plus some regulations from the Securities Commission as well as the Bursa underlying the insider buying and selling. And that's pretty much some of the topic. Of course, some stocks, people will know what happened to MYEG yesterday for that big drop in here. Were insider really buying or were they selling? Isn't it right? That's also a very good question. Plus, some of the stocks that we talked about last week, how well has they fared despite having insider and buying? And it's been this our talk for tonight in here. Good evening, Sugu. All right, so this is what we will be sharing tonight, and do hope that we will share this in your timeline. And tonight is definitely want to able to profit from our insider buying and selling in here. So how you can use this in your, and also regulation and case study from our research, and also looking at some of the US information and research in here by combining the insider buying and selling using Pentagon. What you have is able to look for the next big insider move, which I'm going to share with you in here. Now, do take note a little bit on 2023. It's definitely going to be a different year for at least from where I stand for. But of course, I'm going to be explaining that to the end when we get onto this presentation. So make sure you don't go away and do share again to your friends in here. And we are in improving market, no doubt. The last 2 days KLCI hasn't been that well, you know, it's been selling a bit the last 2 days, including today. But VSA 360 has already informed, and many of you have known, the KLCI has already turned red. Pentagon, the future chart has turned red, Pentagon, so it's actually really a good time. Use the intraday alert, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here for all informations. And one thing that's for sure, in the context of the stock market from the US market, the KLCI, as I said before, if you have the VSA 360 and you have seen the monthly returns hasn't been that great, and this year will be the same unless you're looking at specific small and mid cap stock. Then the concept of more of trading in and out using our VSA 360, the intraday alert, that will keep you up. But if you're thinking of the investing in a longer term, KLCI, it's something that you need to have a better strategy going forward in here. But why I bring this up, this is an interesting slide, is because every year when you see a big fall, especially in the Nasdaq minus 33% and 10 point, and then usually followed by a big move. Now this is one of the historical seasonality that we often seen in US. Dow Jones has a almost 9% loss, and up to January is 2.6%. Of course, the Nasdaq now is about 14% already. The last 2 days move in here. Just think of it, it can go up to potential 2023, another 30%. S&P 500 was down 19% last year, but this year is up 6.2%. I think right now, going to the 8th of February will be 8%. Hang Seng is up 10%, but it's pulled back since. SGX is up 3.3% as of January, but KLCI remained to be in the dip. And why is one of these reasons for this one? Anybody want to answer that question? Pencil those your comment in here. Why KLCI has not been the performance that we wanted it to be? Instead, it just sort of languished into this market like we've seen before. And I can also see many of the frustration, those of you who are longer term investing in the KLCI side in here. As I said before, KLCI is going to be a sideways market for most of 2023, as what we have seen in 2022. Buying a longer term may not make sense. You may just have to have a different strategy, and definitely some of those members who have the VSA 360 will put you into the right move. Now this is why we talk about first educational tips here is the one bad year usually followed by one good year, and that's good news I have in the US Nasdaq. As I said before, the previous slide, the last 12 months for 2022 for US was down. Let me just bring up the laser pointer here. Okay, this was 33% here. Okay, 33% in here, and we have a 10.6% up move. Next month, February, we might see a bit of sell-off, but so far, February month has been great, and you can see, with the exception of 2021, okay, all years, 2021. Okay, 2001, any negative move, okay, for the last 12 months, you will have next year almost a 20 to 30% move. Having said that, I'm pretty positive this year, 2023, the US market will have a very good year. So having said that, this is an insight which I tell many of our members, learn to trade the US market. And if you're going to trade in the Malaysian market, make sure you have the right skill and the tools. Else, it's going to be pretty much a very bad year like you've seen the year before, right? So you can see from here onwards, the average return, the next year is about 22%, medium is about 24%, and it is 73% all the time. So this is from the Nasdaq after a 10% monthly gain with the decline in the last 12 months. So usually take note of this information in here because we're going to be looking at it. But you can see from the KLCI side here, the courtesy of VSA 360, what we have seen here is the continuing down year. 2022 was down, 2021 was down, and 2023 we are already beginning with down minus 1%. So there is not much of the catalyst to really push this one, and KLCI remain to be very predictable, sideways at best, but maybe some catalyst that you can move higher. The last time we saw something like that, it did rally, but guess what? Next thing is foreign fund took the opportunity to sell into the future in here, right? Well, Amil has a good point, who just penciled in there about the political situation. I doubt it's about the political situation. At the end of the day, it's just the level of interest, because money usually flow into the country, looking from the standpoint of foreign markets. Okay, they will look at Singapore and Hong Kong. They want to look at opportunity. The political scenario may have changed because now we have unwind in here. That should be very, very rosy in here. But having said that, the sector which is still barely beaten in here, and much of it is the so-called participation of institutional hasn't been that much. It's just mainly retailer. And on top of that, our market been languishing for the last 6-7 years. So many people tend to leave this market here unless there's a real change in terms of the way the KLCI is measured, or at least the return of more favorable economy situation in here, then we are looking at that. Even on the palm oil stocks, the kind of valuation we are getting is still not in there. So just keep this in mind. The KLCI is fairly sideways. Now, if you look from the KLCI, and here this is precisely what I've talked about. I was expecting the market to break above the 1500, and I have said before, even last week on Wednesday, you will always see a trend of 21 bars. If you count this from the green pentagon to here, that has been the trend. If it can exceed more than 21 bars or 22 or 23 days, then we are seeing a new trend like what we see in the US market. But having said that, this is unlike the year 2020 or 2021. The market goes back to a downtrend. So right now we can see we have a red pentagon, and then the market broke back around the 200-day moving average, and that's not very good. It needs to stay up. Hopefully, I thought it could do what it did, just like the US Dow Jones market. You can see this is the US Dow Jones market. As soon as it rally, right, it rally higher and stay behind. And this is what we talk about, this really longer period of the blue trend zone. As soon as it's turned red pentagon, and of course many of you have known, you can get the red pentagon from our Smart Robie or the VSA 360 in here. Hi Nora, okay. And when you see this nice trend in here, that has to be something that is behind the background. So far, if we look at it, budgets and so on and so forth, that we have hasn't been that great, all right? And we are still a lot of issues. The new Prime Minister, Anwar, have to look into it. And you can see this green pentagon in here, we see the breakout. Now, right now, the Nasdaq seems to be breaking. This is a point where the Dow Jones able to break higher. Now, if the Dow Jones able to break higher above the 34,000, that signifies that the inflation may be kept. But do remember, yesterday the Federal Reserve Chairman came out for interview and indicated that there are more interest rate rise. So the market cannot get a hit here from where we are. So I do see that the market will range bound to likelihood maybe in May. Then this market may play a bit of a breakout from then onwards. Okay, so this is the thought in here. But the KLCI, if you look back previously, let me just go back to our previous chart here. It should stay up, but it didn't stay up. If you look at even the STI, it's staying up. So our market is just not, doing what it's supposed to do right in here. But our focus tonight will be on the insider buying and selling. And I do hope that you have a chance to see this insider and selling. If not, check out our 10-day free trial. Later on, I'll get some information, but you can contact 010-266-9761 to get more information. Thank you, Nora, for your support and your tagging your friend in here. Now, why is this such an important tool? Because we have the part following legally and illegal insider trading. So I want to differentiate this. Does following insider legally, which is what we are doing right now, the VSA 360, and many of you have known the Disclosure Act following the company 2016, where any directors of 5% need to disclose that. So this is what we call legal profitability following the insider. Then there are what we call the illegal insider trading, which I'll explain in short, right, which will get you into trouble where you have price sensitive information. Now, one of the guidelines on the Bursa Malaysia guidance to director on dealing in security, they actually have a very full comprehensive act on directors compliance, period, right, insider, what do you mean by insider, kind of dealing, procedure for dealing in securities, the general duty, right? As I said before, it is a duty for them to make this disclosure. So sometimes some of you may have seen, hey, this stock, a very big listed company, now that the market has reopened, and the market is going up, I'm sure there is some significant buying by the insider, but there are none. So this is something what I talk about, the so-called friendly and non-friendly. And what we are looking for is friendly insider disclosure when they buy and sell. And definitely looking at MYEG, right, which is few questions being asked about it. What happened to the stocks, which I'm going to explain it from the insider buying. You will get some sort of a clue what's happening in here. So the director and guidance to the securities in here insider trading section 188 of the CMSA. Director is considered as insider if he have price sensitive information. All right, price sensitive information that is not generally available, which means winning of a contract or super earnings, EPS, and so on. So most of the time, the investment analysts try to imply from reading all the report in here, and of course, if some information like the loss of a contract that we see AT and INS, where we see some selling, then they will get into trouble, right? If the director were to sell early. I think you may have heard of early on AT, INS, and recently the big move is that they got another customer, all right? And it's such that news is already leaked out, and the market fell, I think 20% looking at AT and INS. But before that, the market did do some very big move, almost 40 to 50% in here, because they have gotten a new customer to replace the Dyson in here. Now, the general duty, which is section 6 of the guidance to the director on dealing securities, is stated the directors must give his standing within 14 days. Okay, now the 14 days is pretty good in any rise and change, his or her interest. Now you will notice those friendly, okay, I call it the friendly insider buying, they will disclose on time on usually, all right, but those are not, will try to delay as long as possible within the 14 days. Previously, I did stated 7 days based on the O1, but we are following the CMSA, is stated as 14 days, which is 2 weeks. So it does give a lot of room for these people to not let you to copycat lah, because a lot of copycat or people following the insider buying, and because academic research have shown you can make substantial amount following insider buying, and I think many of you are already seen, especially in the context of Malaysia. People say U Kang Tao, or they say in Hokkien, right? Or you got tips or not? Got any tips or not? Or you know certain institutional tip. Hey, got insider any insider news all right, we've seen a lot. Oh, they say this one this director, that director will goreng until $1 or goreng to $2 in there. Sometimes you don't believe. By the time you get up there, wow, this is really true, right? I'm sure you heard this before, isn't it? And this is the kind of information, but do take note, some of these news generally are sort of like rumors, right? But we do need the directors, because it is section 6, part of the general duty to make disclosure, and when they make disclosure, we want to able to see it in the chart, and that's pretty much what was the talk about tonight in here. All right, so then we look at the Company Act 2016 Act 77 as of 5th of October 2022, right? I think I've shown you this before. The shareholder has to make those shareholders which is 5% and above in the section 173. So they are governed by 2 regulations, the CA, Company Act 2016, and CMSA, Market Capital Securities Act, I believe, CMSA in here. So it does make sense to follow the insider strategy, CEO, company partner, and so forth. All right. So now grand statement, making handsome profit from insider buying is true or not? What do you think? All right, give me a thumbs up if you think it's true. Right, I think this is fairly the real question is in here. Of course, many of you see is in, but a very famous investor, Peter Lynch, some of you may know, I've talked a lot about him. Insider might sell their share for a number of reasons, but when they buy them for only one, they think the price will rise. All right, they think the price will rise, else they wouldn't even buy. So the same thing goes in here. This is the premise that when I talk about, if you know insider, all right, people, director in here that are buying in here, price will rise. So this is one of the first tenet about in here. Now we're going to be exploring a research report back in September 2017 by a couple of PhD students in the Elizabethtown College. Linkage of insider trading activity, market efficiency, and stock information content. So what it does is this company, this research report look into year almost 12 years, if I can recall. You can just take a look at this report. But I just want to sum up in here how the correlation between making extra abnormal returns. Now, if you look at here, right, in the span of 1 month, the mean return, individual stock, is 26%. You can see here, this is individual stocks, whichever stocks they talk about in here, compared to S&P. S&P is like a KLCI lah. So in 1 month, if you can find out insider buying, based on the research that they have in here, market go up about 26%. Now on 6 months, it goes up 38%. More than a year, it goes up about 51% compared to the so-called S&P 500, which is about 15% return, 38 and 7%, 26 and 1%. So that simply tells you, especially in the Malaysian context, it makes a lot of sense. We might not want to hold it for a year. After I've shared with you, and remember, right, the VSA 360 on the last 6 or 7 years in the KLCI, it hasn't really run up much yet. So holding 1 year doesn't make sense. But if you look at the 1 month here, right, this 1 month, the 26% is one strategy that we adopt. Now, why am I sharing with you in here? Is because we want to adopt the buy and sell strategy in here. We don't want to hold too long, right? 6 months a bit long, maybe 3 months is just nice in here. And of course, if the market were to break down, we have a red pentagon, we want to exit, that's fine. But here is the kind of return that you think compared to the S&P. So you don't need to be a genius, right? You don't need to be a great fund manager, but you just need to follow smart money, okay? You want to follow smart money in here. Now let's take a look at insider selling in the same report too. Now when the insider sell does, right, you can see in the 1 month, the stock actually go down by minus 5%. Compared to S&P, almost unchanged. 6 months, hardly moved, just 1%, and S&P went up by 7%. So it simply says that when insiders sell, that means the company don't perform. So you can see from here, the 1 year return for S&P was about 15%. This stock was only 9%. So the general trend is when the insider is selling, that stock going forward, not so good lah, huh? Just like what Peter Lynch said, right? So you want to be on the side of the insider buying. Can get it? All right. If you can understand this one, give me a thumbs up, right? I think that's pretty simple and one of why we want to share with you in here. Now, let's look at a Malaysian study. Now, we look at the US one. Now, we want to look at a Malaysian study because we're all in Malaysia, isn't it? Right? This is a slightly older report in here. 2011 from UPM, from a fellow student, looking into the effects of insider trading on Bursa efficiency and volatility in Bursa Malaysia. So it looks into the filing between 2003 and 2008. I know that this one I know is quite long ago. I think it's about 14 years ago, but the print text and the context is still the same. If you look back, at that time, 2003, we have So Chi Meng. Right now, there will be still some people in here. It's just the nature of human, which is greedy. So I do think that this is it. So what it simply says here is, okay, I think this is not what I wanted. I didn't know you can do that. Okay. Here, the effect of the insider trading in KLSE is such that insider can make abnormal return, okay, between 3 to 30%, right, during the period of 8 months to 3 years. Okay, so that's a long time. If you look at the US one, they're just looking at 1 year. 3 years is too long in here. As I said, also 8 months are too long. Just now earlier, remember the US one was looking at 6 months here. 3 to 30% in here. That was about 51% depending here. Then it enabled insider to buy on average a 3.2% abnormal profit owing a securities from the event day to 114 days. So this is important because why? When we want to have that trading strategy, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 114 days is almost 3 months in here, right? And I think that if you hold it for 3 months, you should able to make more than 3% in here. But the range is between 30 to 30%. So that simply tells me is that my profit target, usually 30%, I take it lah, maximum. And my longest holding period will be 114 days. Okay, 114 days, and that's the level that I want to be holding this much. Anything more than that, I don't want to hold too much because the KLSE, they don't trend, as well as you see in there. So just keep that in mind with the effect. And this study do conclude the strategy. Now, this is a slide that I presented last week. Compared to the normal stakeholder, right? In US context, very seldom people get charged, right? You can see the red line in here, but the number of insider trading by normal people, banyak. Right? This is insider trading by the US Congress, they don't catch up. And usually CEO, directors, they all have the same result. They beat the market easily. So if you want to beat the market convincingly, use insider trading. Now, of course, this slide just simply talks about the differentiation which we talked about earlier on. The insider buying based on legally available information, right? And some of those are what we call price sensitive, or information that will change the direction of the stock price, losing of a big contract or winning of a big contract in here, and where that will be illegal. All right, so we want to differentiate that. Now, this is also a very good. If company tell us more, insider trading will be worth less. So that simply tells you insider trading is truly an information that we cannot live without in here. So if you do think of it, if you do have this information in your hands before you buy any share, wouldn't that make a lot of difference? We talk about 3% abnormal return up to 114 days. And if you look at if you're trading of a trade of 10,000 ringgit, 3% is 300 ringgit, right? For every trade. Wouldn't that make a lot of difference, having that information? Something to think about, especially those who are pretty new in the VSA context. Of course, for our members, you continue to enjoy this benefit. Now, looking at some of the benefit, how to use it. Now, the VSA 360, those who may not know, our insider buying comes with analyst call to buy, sell, and by licensed investment analysts. Okay, we can also differentiate between friendly insider and non-friendly insider in here. Now, the whole point is to combine both a good company with strong a strong FA, a good fundamental in here, with insider buying. Because as I said before, Peter Lynch, they won't buy if they don't think the company is going to be doing well. And I do say that too, right? Then you combine it with VSA setup, volume spread analysis setup, which also look into smart money in here. So that way you have a three-pronged approach. You have the fundamental, you have the VSA, and you have the Bursa disclosure requirement that the director need to make, right? And for especially those who don't have any of those information, we want to avoid it. Now, take note, when it comes to insider buying, the directors is important. That's why we talk about director dealing. But when you have institutional EPF and KWA, you will notice, if you get hold of it, like Maybank, they will buy and sell. And in many ways, I do think the EPF is providing liquidity into the market. They will buy and sell, right, for a period of about a whole year. So sometimes they're just giving excess liquidity into the market in here. In my opinion, if they're going to be buying and selling, it doesn't make sense. Maybank for them is institutional in here. So take note, insider buying, the keyword is directors and non-directors only, okay? So the labeling that we have inside here, the blue one, C/B is called to buy by the analyst, C/C is called to sell. You will also notice call to sell by analysts is not friendly, not good for business. So very seldom call to sell. Call to hold a lot. Now, little bit of preview. There's a call to hold for MYEG came out yesterday. I think if you check out the Edge newspaper, they have a call to hold because the impact of losing the government contract in here is not a lot. And you can also see there's an insider buying too. We will get to it next. Insider buying will be the B here. Insider selling will be S. Off-market transaction transfer is like you transfer from company A to company B or individual A to individual B. Others tend to be bonus issue. Company do offer bonus issue in here, so they get some substantial bonus issues, right, that will go into display. So the power insider buying, you could see here CY Park in here. Now CY Park was up 150% from the early December in here, right? So it's up 150%. Usually if you look at it, 114 days max. Okay, let's take that 110 days, 3 bulan lah. So December, you got January, February, so almost there already lah. You have to start selling. If you have CY Park, you bought it at 40 cents, it's time to sell, okay? It's time to sell. Don't hold too long, okay? Because insider already done research inside there. But generally, after 1 month, you hit the new high, you have to be very careful, or 30%, whichever comes to. So it makes sense. Just now we talk about that thing. Then next one, so it's time to take profit in here. Toyo also same thing. Toyo when you can see when the buying in early December here, right? This is where we want to get in stage 1 when the Pentagon is blue trend zone or green in here. It hit the high at 1.5 months in here, and if it does hit that 30%, it's time to take some profit in here. So it's not that, so you have to be a bit patient in here to go for the kind of move. Of course, Carex early on, same thing, early December, and the market recovered back further, but I don't think you're going to go up to 75 cents to take profit. And if you see a series of buying, very important, a series, not just one, a series 1, 2 or 3. Best you have 3 buying, insider buying in the chart itself before you do any move, and that would be good. Of course, going up, there's a lot of call to buy in here. So can you understand? You have a series, a list of 3 buys, right? Plus a good setup. You can see here, buy, setup, and then you go. Okay. Here's another one, Tune Pro. You can see up 53% from the last insider buy early December, hit 1.5, up 53%, and you have 1, 2, 3. You can have 3 series of buying, right? That is actually a good sign. 3, at least 3, right? Can you understand? If you can understand, just type 3 over there. 3 consecutive of buying, okay, on your charts. Plus it's in stage 1, green Pentagon in here, right? And your risks are very low. And we are looking at 3 months, 30% kind of thing in here. You will be one of the best trader investor in there with this, just this information in here, right? So the only thing you need is the VSA 360 charts. Now last week, which was a bonus, which I get in 1st of February, I gave in Chin Hin, Inta, and Perak Trans. So let's take a look at them and see whether you all remember. First one of Chin Hin, you could see after 3 consecutive buy turning green, we have it here, the range here, right? 1, 2, 3 in here. This was actually a good time to buy, you can see. All right, but we just have one here previously in here. Market's still going up, okay, having said that, but we are very close to the top already. All right, so Chin Hin is up 8% from last Facebook that we done last week. All right, but from green Pentagon it's up 24%, so take some profit now in here. It doesn't take a genius. After what I showed you the academic and some of the examples in here, it makes buying much easier. You're able to profit from it in here. Perak Transit, with the exception, there were only 3 sequence of buying in here. 1, 2, 3. You see 1, 2, 3, right? Then market goes up here. But this one was a lone wolf. So this one was a lone wolf, and I saw it, right? I just moved it aside here. You can see this was a lone one, right? But this amount was big. But having said that, we still need the green Pentagon, right? The setup is the green Pentagon with the blue trend zone, so you're able to buy in a very positive setup. Remember, we want to have 3 things set up for us: the FA, the VSA setup, and also the insider buying and selling. As such, there were no buying in here, and there was a sell-off. You would have avoided this sell-off from the series of buying in here. Next is the, but remember, Pentrans was up 17% after the 3 sequence of buying here. So look for 3 sequence of buying, then it goes up in here. So Inta, you have a whole bunch of them in here. Inta has today fell, no time. So it's time to take profit. As I said before, 3 sequence of buying here. 1, 2, 3, then you will have it here. It's time the market move up, but it may go up. Today it's down 5% in here. The stock is pretty illiquid, but we will see how the market go. So there was a question from our Telegram user, right? Mr. Dillian here. Can you comment how strong is the selling yesterday and today on MYG? That's one I will definitely share with you. Now, if you look from the VSA 360, you can see in here, there were sequence of buying. That 1, 2, 3 buying, right? Then turn green Pentagon, market started to move up. So today, all right, you can see here, 5 million shares, right? Previously it was what, 90 over cents. There were a lot of buy call, and there was a call to sell just next to my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lock in and make sure you get hold of the VSA 360, or at least try out the 10-day trial in here, right? It's really a good product. And you can see right now in here, there is a buy call, and there is buying, okay, buying in here from Mr. Okay, let me just move back in here. 3 months. Okay, let's switch back to 1 month. So you can see buy call to buy what is that? Call to buy by CIMB at $1. Call to buy CIMB has 2 here, and call to sell by call to hold at 93 cents here. So who was also buying? You can see here the CEO. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see it in here. Yeah. Okay. So you can't see it here. Now you can see, right? This is where you want to have this VSA 360 in here. So what does it tell you, right? Now remember previously, as I said before here, right? We have another case, okay, to Inari, where there was a call to buy, and then eventually what happened, analysts came out and say there's not much of effect. Likelihood these stocks may go back up, as I said before, but not in the next 1 month or so, could be 3 months. And that's what the earlier research study, it goes back to almost a year. So if you want to buy MYEG, you might have to wait for 9 months to a year before the stock goes up. It's not going to go up that quick, not within 1 year, not within 3 months in here. But having said that, I don't think there's nothing much wrong with MYEG. It's just that a lot of people are panicking in here. And let me just take a look, share with you in here. Now, this is the stocks that you see. You can see there are a lot of KWAP. This doesn't matter, but we want to see the owner buying. You see, EPF was buying in here. Lots of buying by EPF, right? You just mouse over in here. EPF were buying. EPF was selling in here. But I'm more interested on the director itself. You see, they don't see any director buying. So, but this time, right, he came in and he bought 5 million. At around, I don't know, let's see here, 5 million around, maybe at the bottom here, 60 cents, right? 60 cents, 5 million, that's almost 2 million in here. Does that justify the amount? Of course, they also call to buy, the market has dropped. And if you look at the analyst report, pretty much what is being said, that the stock has minimum, maybe some effect in here in the short term, but I do think that in longer term this stock will eventually move back up. It took a while. If you look back the last 12 months, it's been very volatile, hit the low. Right now it's gone even below this in here, but I do think that given time, this stock within 6 to 9 months should recover. Right now, I want to show you the next stock is Inari. Okay, you can see from Inari, it's not like a Serber Dynamics, okay, because Serber Dynamics was slightly different. Okay, Serber Dynamics was totally okay, why am I having this? Oh, we'll take a look at that one, but I'm going to come back to this. So if you look at this chart here, let me just blow it up a bit here. Right, you can see, go back to 3 months, and this is where very similar. They were buying, EPF was buying, and then they were selling, but there was a lot of call to hold. Similar situation, what I'm trying to tell you in here. Then after that, the market just sort of moved sideways. And I do think very similar it's going to be happening to MYEG as of Inari in here. So if you are looking for a short-term profit, I wouldn't advise you to buy MYEG. Right, unless it just rally to 1 or 2 days, you get like less than 10% you want to get, that's fine. But if you're looking at longer terms, within a year, then I think that's okay, because it will take them a while before they remove all the excess seller in the market. If you look at it from the VSA standpoint, this is what would generally happen. Okay, so that has to happen first before you get on to the thing happening. So just take note of Inari, but it's not a case like Apai2. Serber Dynamics. Okay, now this is interesting. Denko Mac, right? Again, after a CV of 1, 2, 3, the market move up. See that? It move up. So this is again a possible insider moving, right? A CV of 3. So just think of it. A series of 3, stage 1 accumulation, blue trend zone, dia boleh jalan punya, right? Just imagine this information put into your pocket can make you money every time when you see a trade like that. All right, Denko Mac, we'll definitely be coming to look at it next week when we're doing this similar talk again. All right, we did see Inta also. So if let's go on to some of the stocks that we have for our audience here. Right, I just want to get some participation. If you have any stocks you want me to look at, just let me know. I'm just going to bring up the VSA 360 in here, and you can see this definitely. Let me just refresh this again. All right, we got some stocks here. Series of 3 buying. Yep. 3 lah. You know, satu tak cukup lah. 2. Okay, let's look at teladan. Okay, teladan. Tengok ada tak. Okay. So if you don't have it in there and if you don't have the kind of confidence in here, then you don't want to be doing. So if you look at teladan, nothing, only OT transfer ni. Okay. So this one is just purely on the VSA signal in here. And the whole point is to look at we got Awantech. Okay, let's look at Awantech. So Awantech also tada, only there was only call to hold only. It does has a green pentagon, but it does not have any of the. This is what I call friendly insider and non-friendly insider, right? They just don't want to disclose. You look at the MYEG after the market fall, right? Remember there are 14 days, isn't it? Remember just now we talked about 14 days of disclosure, right? The founder, Mr. Wong here, satu hari saja already disclosed it. So this is what I call friendly insider. Some of these don't have friendly insider, they want to hide, so we have to be very careful. And this one already turned red pentagon too. Okay, Awantech, MYEG, I think I just explained. Let's take a look at Muhiba. Okay, so Muhiba is going on a nice uptrend. Yes, you can see here. Cantik lah, you see. Tengok. After 3 kali series of buying, dia boleh jalan punya. Believe not. 1, 2, 3. Yeah? So you go in at 61 cent. Okay. Today sell down lah. Okay, of course lah. 61 cent in here. But then 61, how high it hit? It hit 76. So let me do a calculator. 76 divided by 61. 24.5%. Okay, 24.5%. And this is what we talk about in here. Okay, so this information is pretty good, right? Wow, a lot of people got a lot. So those of you, especially if you, unfortunately we can't finish, I'll just do one more. We can't finish too many of the event. For those who are our member, you can try it out. Just go 16 member. For those of you who are not member, if you want to try out this, there is a number you can contact or sign up in our website for a 10-day free trial and you can check it out yourself. I think it's fairly good. Before you know. Okay, I'll try one more SL West, which I do like it. SL West. SL West is call to buy. Okay, there's a call to buy, but again, there isn't any buy. Only the buying and selling here. Okay, there were 2 selling in here, nothing of so this one also non-friendly. All right, Jane. Okay, so that's I want to cover that but I want to go further a few more things in here. So why are people so appalled at insider buying, so quick to trade on inside information when it comes their way, isn't it? We see that a lot, right? So they always go and ask, hey, got tips, got insider tips, right? But they know it's illegal. Now the recent purchase that I made was NWP, but I bought it too late. As I start doing my research, I find that after so many rounds here, the first 3 is the best one here and then 3 more here, then the market start to move up. But now already too late. So you can see the market has been up since 70% since after the CV of insider buying 15th of January, which is not bad. So you can get 15-17%, which is quite good. All right. So another benefit just beyond the VSA trade, something I want to promote here, especially remember, is our medium-term VSA investor. And one of the things we do for 2023 is to rebalance the portfolio for the value share in here. So you can see this was on the 11th of September. And we also look into the insider buying, whether they have it or not, because that will be part of our basis when we get in some of these shares. But most importantly, these shares are generally well rated, Robie rating and so forth. Okay, they're well rated in here. So you can see, and we do monthly rebalancing. If they don't perform, we will just remove them and replace by other shares. So you can see on the 11th of February, some of these stocks has gone higher, all of them green, and we have seen the KLSE has moved up. So these are very strong and they pay dividend, especially those of you who are looking for dividend play. So at one point, my idea is to have a little bit of trading like what we saw just now with the insider buying and selling. Many of you already have this. Then the other one is looking at the market portfolio. And one of the ways to look into it, when you log in, just go over to the premium menu and you go over to MC portfolio. right? And you can see here, this is where we have the respective three markets here. The SGX, the US market, and the Malaysian markets in here. They are updated using the live data in here, right? And going forward, we will explore starting out insider buying portfolio very similar to this. I'm looking into it, but most important is the maintenance. Now on the US side, we started this on January the 3rd. You can see as of last week was 3%, and of course Nasdaq has a good run. Not all stock went up. You can see on semiconductor is up 20%, 10%, 1%, and the petroleum is just down 5% in here. So you can see on the US side, we are looking into the similar one where you can look into rebalancing your portfolio, has a bit of fundamental play, and very suitable for those local investors to diversify out of the KLCI. So we have something for everyone here, because we do hope that in this manner, right, not only on the Malaysian market, and of course it doesn't make sense, as I said before just now, in the overall market that you've seen, you know, the US market and the Malaysian market. The Malaysian market, we can get away with trading inside out using the insider buying and selling. But if you want to look at the overall performance of market going higher, we want to put our attention to the US market. Whichever way you like, we definitely have something for you in here, right? Because I myself are pretty big and long on the US side. You can see here the SGX, we do have that iFast was only 2%. January 31st, that was last week, and also suitable for local investor buying Sing dollars, okay? And right now you could see up 9%, Sandura 3%, and these all pay dividend with the exception of iFast. Silent is down in here, and so forth. All right, so check it out in here for our members in here. So 2023 benefits we are starting to promote to our members, and I hope that you use this to identify the insider buying and selling in here with good VSA set up for maximum profit in here. And we then also have the medium term for those of you invest with some dividend. You just don't want to buy and sell trading all the time. All right, as I said before, always have a two-pronged strategy. One for the shorter term, one for the slightly medium term, right? In that way, you get the best of both. And there are many, many more. These are just 2023. And we have the older release of 2022, right? We get better, as I said before. Every time, every quarter, we have something new. And we don't raise our price. We just want our member to benefit. And if they make money, they will share that with their friends in here. Now, doing well is going to be tough, especially in the Malaysian context. But the US side, it's going to be slightly up, as I said before in here. So in Malaysia, you really need the power of the insider and buy if you want to stay in here. And remember what I said earlier on, the abnormal return of 3% on every trade using over a period of about 3 months will get you ahead. So what is ahead for KLCI? We have seen the resistance 1500 failed to break, the market break below the 200-day moving average. Previously stated, I said before, this trend 21 days only. So we predicted it very well, and then finally it turned red Pentagon. Why? Because there is no strong trend, there is no strong underlying economic factor. Maybe what Amel said just now, political situation was so bad, you know, market just fell off in here. We are in red Pentagon now. Now it's going to be testing the 1460. But I don't think it's going to break down because the situation is not that bad as it is. It's just that a lot of people take profit and a lot of people buy the support, then the market tend to range bound from there. But it will make a difference. So the 7 tools we have put into place, part of our framework. And we'll be doing our next VSA orientation on next Tuesday. So those of you who have just joined us, do come for orientation in here. The power of the insider buy and sell chart in here is going to be part and parcel of our trading in here. We have our virtual trading platforms, right? And then we also have our performance of our trade coach to analyze this in here. All right, check it out in here. And now you, especially our members, is one of our priority in here to bring them to the best in here. So before doing that, you know, check out all our things, use the trading platform in here and able to do well. So summary, year 2023 will be a different year from 2022 for the context of US market, right? One good year after one bad year. 2022 was a bad year, so we think 2023 statistically will be on the positive side. We are on a crossroad right now, as I shared before. The 200-day moving average for the Dow Jones will it break up to 34, else it's going to range bound. But KLCI is otherwise started to range bound from here onwards. May see also US. I don't think US is going to break before the 34,000. It's just going to range bound again until we see some sort of next week, right? Big change will be the CPI inflation coming out in here. KLCI, look to trade, don't hold too long, right? But that's not going to be a market crash. Market's looking better. But during this time of what we call a sideways market, many of you would have known, I always talk about getting the right education. Not only that, the great tools on beyond that, and use our smart Robie, our smart money concepts right now with the insider buying low, selling high. Okay, so that's all I have for tonight in here. And if you want to try out our 10-day trial, this is a QR code you can have. Just take a picture of this one here, and you can use the insider buying and selling that we have, and we are strongly promoting it to all our users in here. But if you are ready, you can sign up for our plan. Great plan will give you the first mover advantages for the KLCI, especially some of the things we talk about in here. And don't forget to share and join our Telegram chat room for all information in here, right? And I think we all learned something tonight in here. And don't forget to join me again on Friday, right, for our breakfast show with VSA 360, and we will talk more also on insider report and buy. So that's all we have tonight. Thank you for coming, and thank you, and have the better remaining trading week for the for the week, I suppose. Thank you again, and check out the VSA 360 using the insider buying and selling in here, and that will certainly put you in the right position. Good night.